Hey there, Moose Tube fans. Lone Moose. Wanted to give you guys kind of a heads up of things to come here. We're in the latter part of August, and it's time to get ready for the Alaska 2020 trip. So I'm going to be doing a video on the bear protection, weapons, and ammunition I'm going to be taking up with me. I'm going to be doing another video as a product review on a couple of different holsters that I bought for my Taurus Raging Bull. And this video I just kind of want to give you an overview really of what Jim and I hope to accomplish while we're up there this year, because we're going to be up there for 2 weeks this time. Jim is already got his shed / cabin shell ordered, and in fact it's going to be delivered while we're up there. And the first thing that's going to happen is a company's going to come out and set what are called helical piles, and this is kind of the preferred method of setting your foundation that you'll set the cabin shell on. So there'll be video on that. I've seen a few videos online of the helical piles and how they work, but this will be my first chance to actually see it up close and personal. So you guys can look forward to that as it comes along. We're going to be clearing off some of the property. Jim wants a 30-foot fire protection zone, clear cut of trees and stuff around his property, or around his cabin. And I have to kind of get out and scope the lay of the land and figure out where I want to put my cabin on my section of the property, and then start doing a little bit of clearing on that as well. Hopefully we will have time. We're going to be doing some salmon fishing on both the Kenai River, where we fished last year, as well as the Kasilof River, which is really close to where we're at. Last year when we were up there, we met a young man by the name of Chuck Abbott, and Chuck basically taught Jim and I how you fish for salmon in the Kenai. And it's kind of a process. They call it flossing the river. I'll kind of go into more detail of that when we're shooting the fishing videos up there. But Chuck loves to fly fish, and so do I. So one of the things we're hoping to do this year is for Chuck and I to be able to go down to the Anchor River, which is in Anchor Point near Homer. And Anchor River is famous for its steelhead trout runs. So we want to try doing some salmon fishing, steelhead fishing for trout there. I did get a chance to try that with a guide back in 2014, but it happened to be the one day I could fish was a major storm was coming in off the Arctic Ocean, so pretty much all we caught was getting wet and cold. Another thing I want to try and get done while I'm up there in the fly fishing realm, and if Chuck can't fish with me, maybe he knows a couple of good places to go up there, but catch some Dolly Varden, which I did catch one in 2014, and that's a lot of fun. But Arctic grayling, that's a bucket list item for me. I want to get an Arctic grayling. I also want to do a half-day halibut charter. Jim has done halibut charter in the past and got extremely seasick. So when I mentioned that last year, it was an automatic no. So, since he's going to be having some issues where he's going to have to be at his cabin part of the time, maybe I can get off for a half a day and do that myself, because halibut is one of my favorite fishes. In fact, in 2009, still working with VA, and we were with Army up in Anchorage for some business meetings, and we went to a brew pub in downtown Anchorage. Dinner that night was fresh caught halibut. The steak was about 1.5 inches thick. It was blackened, and I swear that is the absolute best tasting piece of meat I've ever had in my mouth, period. I have never had a beefsteak that could touch that. And I've used halibut here before and made fish tacos with it, grilled it, and made fish tacos out of it, so I'm really looking forward to that. Another thing we're talking about doing is taking a water taxi. It's called the Seldovia Wildlife Tour. It goes out of Homer, and the first place that it goes by is what's called the Gull Island Bird Rookery, and there can be anywhere from 15,000 plus birds on this little island at any one time. So it'll cruise around there, so you can take some photos and get a little bit of the history of the place. And from there it goes through the Eldred Passage. And in that area, it's not uncommon to see seals, sea ducks, whales, and from there on over to Seldovia, which is on the far side of Kachemak Bay from Homer. And we'll have 2 or 3 hours to explore Seldovia, get something to eat, and then take the ride back. We definitely want to do some hiking. Last year we wanted to do the hike out to Russian River Falls, but unfortunately the Swan Lake fire, which was massive at the time we were out there last year, shut all that area down. It was restricted and we couldn't. So we want to try to do that. And there's all kinds of other hikes in that region that we want to do. So we definitely want to do some exploring. And I pitched the idea of maybe one day going over to Whittier, which is on the east side of the peninsula, where our property is over on the west side. And Whittier's another nice little town. That's where the Alaska Railroad starts, and there's a real neat tunnel there. I think it's about a mile long, that's used by both the train as well as automobile traffic. So when it's time for the train to go through, all automobile traffic gets stopped, and it's only one way at a time. It's that narrow, so only traffic going from Whittier to the Anchorage area goes through one time, and the Anchorage to Whittier traffic is stopped, and vice versa. And if there's large motorhomes or are the train as well as automobile traffic. So when it's time for the train to go through, all automobile traffic gets stopped, and it's only one way at a time. It's that narrow, so only traffic going from Whittier to the Anchorage area goes through one time, and the Anchorage internet accessibility while we're up there will determine if I get them posted while I'm up there. I'll have the computer and everything do the editing, but if it takes 24 hours to upload a video, well, that's not going to happen. But I'm going to try and do shoot and hopefully have enough for at least one video a day, so you guys can stay tuned and look forward to that. This is really going to be the start of my Alaska series, and this is going to run on for hopefully years and years and decades for the rest of my life. But if you guys enjoy these kind of videos, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Hit the notify so that you'll be notified when the next Alaska video pops up. I follow a lot of Alaska channels myself. 2 of my favorites, Simple Living Alaska, nice young couple that lives up in the Willow area, which is north of Anchorage. And then My Alaska Dream. I really like that couple. It reminds me a lot of me, really. He's a retired Army soldier, and they live on an island in the Inside Passage, not far from Juneau. But those are 2 channels you might, if you're interested, look them up, follow their adventures as well. Alaska is a mystical land, and it's one of those things I found you either absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it. I've been in love with it since 5th grade, and I am going to live out my dream of living in Alaska as long as nothing happens in the next year or 2 years to shorten my life, so I can't. But otherwise, I plan on being up there, and I hope you guys follow along and enjoy the adventure with me. So stay tuned for my future videos.